What's going on YouTube? So the Durango has long marched to its own beat in the family three-row segment, especially when it comes to power. In a time when rivals are downsizing their engines to turbo 4-cylinders, Dodge is expanding V8s this year and adding this new America 250 edition. So is this V8 three-row the family SUV you should put in your driveway? Well, let's go ahead and take a first look to find out. So before I jump into the exterior, of course you might be wondering, what does America 250 Edition stand for? Well, it stands for the 250th anniversary of America. And inside of this package, you're going to find a lot of basically patriotic touches, including the actual exterior of the vehicle, which is of course available in red, white, or blue. Now, the Durango, of course, is a very aggressive SUV. And you'll see that right up here in the front for this model, as well as really the entire lineup. You've got that signature Dodge grille. You have a very aggressive lower fascia with your front splitter. And you even have the hood scoop up there at the top. And we've got the stripe coming down. And as Mason kind of gets closer to it, you'll see it has the stars actually inside of it for a really detailed and cool look straight from the factory. Now, as far as the lighting is concerned, that part's not changing. You still have LED headlights, of course. It's a projector for your low beam and a reflector for your high beam, and then you've got your daytime running lights going on through there. And moving on to the wheels, this new A250 edition will come with a special 20-inch gloss black alloy. Looks very menacing overall, especially with those gloss black brake calipers peeking out behind it. And then as we rise above here, we've got that special American flag, and you have a special badge located right there. Of course, the mirrors are going to be blacked out, and they come standard like every Durango with blind spot monitoring and heating.
Now here at the side of the Durango, this is a very big product for this three-row midsize segment. 200.8 inches is your overall vehicle length, and of course that's not going to change for this A250 version. Now as far as design touches, all of our window surrounds are going to be blacked out. We also have the roof rails up here at the top, and Drew already mentioned that this vehicle is available in those exterior colors that of course represent the American flag. Now as we head around to the rear, you have that signature Durango design back here. I have to say I do really like the way this looks, and of course it's very menacing as compared to most of the family SUVs that you can get in this segment. We have a spoiler up here at the top, a rear window wiper. The stripe is of course going to continue to fall down through there, and then we have the full length taillights across the back. Now one of the elements I wish they maybe updated was the taillight unit itself. It is going to be partially LED, however things like your reverse light will still be incandescent, which does look a little cheaper in 2027. And then as we head down to the lower fascia, all of this is going to be a body color. You also have dual integrated exhaust outlets, and of course that's going to pump out a fantastic sound, especially if you choose a V8 version. And by the way, this can tow 8,700 pounds, which is very good for the segment. As far as your active safety features, you get some of those as standard equipment, but do be aware that things like lane keep warning are going to be offered instead of lane keep assist. Now there's quite a lot of special details on the inside, including a very unique cabin. But first, if you're new here, we're brothers and we've been reviewing cars since we were 12
and 16. We started young, and since then we've reviewed over 2,000 cars at every price point.
No matter what you're looking for, from sound level readings to cargo measurements, we'd love for you to subscribe to be a part of our Car Confections family.
Let's learn a lot and have some fun with all the latest cars. Now, like Mason was saying, these special touches continue to the inside, so let's get into those. I'll go ahead and open up the door here because the seats really are a big focus of the interior changes that they made for the A250 specifically. And again, you'll see that patriotic theme continue because check out the color scheme. We have a black seat, we've got the blue perforation. By the way, this is a Laguna leather exclusively. And then we also have the red seatbelt. And then you'll notice the stitching is also red, white, and blue. And then, of course, we have the embossment of the American flag up there in the leather itself. Overall, very soft and supple with the leather, and I think the look is pretty darn cool. Down below, of course, you have power adjustment. We've got 4-way lumbar support and memory seats as well. But let's climb inside. And now that we're inside, we can look at the rest of the cabin materials. Now, this model comes with one of the high-end Durango interiors, as in like more in common with some of your very, very highest end models. So that means you've got nice stuff all over the door trim, for instance. All through here is going to be a leatherette with a stitching detail. Again, the two different colors. We have a forged carbon fiber trim, and then through here is more leatherette. As we move to the upper dash, they finished this entirely in leatherette with the stitching details all throughout. And then down here on the bottom, we have more of that forged carbon fiber and stitched leatherette padding. Everything is nice and solid overall. Now we'll see if we can get some of the electronics fired up here in the studio today to take a look at that. And I did get the gauge cluster fired up, so we can take a quick look at that. Of course, this again is an early production model, so not everything is fully functional, and we're indoors today, but you can see we got that typical Durango setup, which is partially digital, and you can reconfigure that center section to different things that you want. As we pull back to the steering wheel, we have one of my favorite steering wheels in a family SUV, that's for sure. You got this really thick, nice performance steering wheel with the flat bottom. We've got the red, white, and blue stitching going all the way around it, so it looks super cool. And it's power tilt and telescoping as well as heated. Over here at our interior storage, pop this open. I was going to say you can see the storage, but you probably can't see the storage. It's a decent amount though, belt lined. We've got our illuminated cup holders through there. You have your wireless phone charging pad and a little bit more storage, as well as a bevy of different USB connections on board. Of course, you know, you're probably familiar with this Durango's interior. It's been mostly the same for many years at this point, so main things are not changing, including the shifter. You have an available 360 camera on board. In the center section, you'll see the climate controls. You have all physical controls, 3-zone automatic setup, as well as your heated seats and your heated steering wheel. Big old volume knob as well for the audio system. As far as the display, this part is not changing, so it's still your 10-inch Uconnect 5 system, built-in navigation, and it also has wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. At the top here, we've got our auto-dimming mirror. The headliner has a nice suede finish to it, which is super nice. And then you've got your standard size sunroof, which does, of course, open up.
And let's go ahead and check out the second row of the Durango. Now, like Drew said, we are going to be focusing here on the A250 changes. We've reviewed several Durangos on the channel, so if you want to know all the nitty-gritty details, we will go into a lot of that in other videos. But let's go ahead and talk about the space. So as far as the rear legroom, about 39 inches of legroom and about 40 inches of headroom. Those are both very good numbers, and I do want to point out that I normally would bring the ruler, but I'm looking at probably 7 or 8 inches of knee room. We are in a very limited time frame with this new Durango A250 version. And now let's go ahead and talk about the features. So here in the center section, we do have our own vents, and you're also going to have quite a lot of connections. So you have 2 USB ports, a household outlet, and because this model is available in like the Plus versions, you get the heated back seats as well. So really, it's quite a lot of features here in the Durango. And then you have your physical climate controls that are located right up here on the ceiling, and vents are also located right there. You'll notice that we have captain's chairs, you have comfortable armrest, and 2 cup holders right in the middle. But let's go ahead and check out the third row. In order to get back into the third row, all you have to do is locate this little lever right here. That's going to fold the seat down, and then you can pull this strap back here, and that's going to release the seat up and out of the way. Of course, if you had a child seat installed, this would not work, so I would prefer maybe a tilting mechanism, but this is typically how older products use the second row folding mechanism. And let's go ahead and head back into the third row itself. Now, one of my favorite elements about the Durango is this third row because, you know, surprisingly, this is a great third row, about 33.5 inches of legroom. And really the thing that I'm also noticing is that it's almost like stadium style seating. So I feel like I'm sitting up really nice and tall here in the third row. I can get a good visibility of the rest of the vehicle. Also, the thigh support is really good as well. So overall, one of the best third rows in this entire segment, that is for sure. Now, there are just 2 seats back here, so that means overall seating capacity is just going to be 6 passenger as compared to some of the rivals that could be 8 passenger. We have a cup holder on the left hand side, and we also have vents coming out of the ceiling. There's not a ton of features back here, but overall I will say that it's very comfortable, so I'm going to say this is fit for adults. And let's go ahead and check out the cargo area. So in order to get back here, you just push the handle right there. And let's talk about overall cargo capacity. Now, when it comes to the Durango, you're going to be pretty pleasantly surprised. Around 17 cubic feet of space behind the third row, 43 cubic feet with the seats folded down, and as a maximum 85 cubic feet of space. So overall, like I said, those are pretty good numbers. It's very competitive with most of its rivals. And speaking of the rivals, we would encourage you to go to carconfections.com/vehicle rankings. Now, the reason you should do that is because we've looked at all this vehicle's competitive products and ranked them in individual categories, things like the third row, the cargo space, interior technology, luxury features, and value, and you can see the best options depending on what is most important to you. It's a very competitive segment, so we definitely recommend you check that out and make an informed buying decision at carconfections.com. Now, as far as the third row, they are going to be a manual folding setup, so you just kind of use that lever, and that's going to allow you to easily fold the seat down. Honestly, I don't even mind that much. It's a very simple way to fold the seat. Now, I do have to go up there to fold the second row manually. And as you can see, when I do fold that down, you're going to have quite a lot of cargo length. Like I said, I am on a limited time frame with this vehicle, so I can't get out the tape measure or anything in this video, but because this vehicle is long, you would have quite a lot of length.
Now you probably guessed what is under the hood of this Durango, because what says America like a Hemi, right? So of course we've got the Hemi under the hood, but you can also get the Pentastar V6 if you prefer. So that's going to be the standard option in the Durango for 2026, but really across the entire lineup, like I was talking about, Dodge has made V8s more available and given you more options as well. So now you also will have the option of the 392 RT, which is the 6.4 liter Hemi V8 with 475 horsepower, and that fits right in between the 5.7 Hemi V8 that you see here with 360 horsepower and the full-blown SRT Hellcat with 710 horsepower. Now, regardless, you're going to have an 8-speed automatic transmission. This is a rear drive platform, but you do have available all-wheel drive as well, and the combined fuel economy could be about 16 miles per gallon with this one. If you go for that 392 Hemi, though, it's probably going to be about 15 miles per gallon combined.
Now let's talk about the pricing. So the full lineup of Durango prices are on the screen right now. They have actually released the pricing, at least on the base front, for this A250 version. It's going to start at $49,590 for the GT Plus A250 version. So it's going to have a relatively affordable price tag for this segment. Things in this segment keep getting more and more expensive, and of course don't give you as big of an engine as what you find here in the Durango. Now, if you're looking to buy one, we'd encourage you to go to carconfections.com/newcarquotes. The reason you should do that is because we have a tool on our website that'll connect you with local car dealers in your area to get you the best price. It's also going to give you access to invoice pricing information, which is a great tool to use while dealership negotiating. If you'd like to take advantage of that, as well as things like our monthly payment tool, you can find a link to that down below in our video description, as well as a pinned comment at the top of this video. And guys, that wraps up our first look review of the new Dodge Durango A250. Now, of course, we will be covering this model in more extensive detail later on, so you won't want to miss out on that, so please hit the subscribe button down below. Of course, we cannot wait to take this out on the road, because I think that's really one of the shining parts of this vehicle is the drive experience, so stay tuned for that. If you're already part of our family, thank you so much for your continued support. You make this all possible, and we'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.